Hey everyone, it's Mike Andes. Today I'm talking about the pros and the cons of joining Augusta Lawn Care. Whether you are starting your lawn care business or you're thinking about converting your existing independent lawn care company into an Augusta Lawn Care franchise, I'm going to talk about why you should not, and why there's good things about it and there's bad things. I'm going to try to be as transparent as possible, but let's start right from that with the first con, and that is that you are listening to a very biased video because I have financial interest in you deciding to become a franchisee. Whether or not you listen to anybody online, you got to take this into account. Are they biased? Now, that being said, you also got to take into account when you're listening to somebody about a decision is bias versus also knowledge. Because someone making an opinion about something they have no idea what they're talking about is also just as worthless as someone who is biased. I am very biased, but I have a ton of knowledge as to what the pros and the cons are. So, massive asterisk next to the rest of this video is I am extremely biased. I can obviously make more money by you joining Augusta Lawn Care. So, if you think that's a bad thing, you should probably talk to franchisees that have knowledge and might be less biased. All right. So talk to franchisees. How are you going to do that? You're going to contact any of them, or you contact Lee in the link description. He can set you up for the call, and then also give you a list of all the contacts for every single franchisee, and you can call any of them. So I'm number one. The cons of this video is I am biased. If you want someone less biased, you need to contact a franchisee. And if you set up a call with Lee, link in the description, he can set you up with their contacts. But let's go over the pros and the cons, okay? Since we've already gotten started on the cons, let's go ahead and just keep going down the list. Now, this whole video came from a text message that I was sent, and someone I had contacted like a couple years ago, and they out of the blue they basically said, hey, can you give me a brief, concise pros versus cons of joining Augusta Lawn Care? Why should I convert? They have an existing independent lawn care company. Why should I convert into becoming Augusta? And give me like a clear, concise, I'm like there is videos, but like, no, I want like from you, what are the pros and cons? Well, my response today is literally just going to be from the notes of the video or the text message that I sent back to them. So let me go ahead and open this up. Let's go ahead and go first though through the cons. So first one, I am biased. Second one is price or cost, okay? So there's obviously a price and cost to being a part of Augusta Lawn Care and a franchise. First and foremost, the initial fee. We have two different types of franchises at Augusta Lawn Care, a solo operator model and a growth model. Now, to be very clear, you do not join the solo operator model if you want to stay as being a solo operator for the next 10 to 15 years. You shouldn't join Augusta Lawn Care if your only goal is to grow like to $20,000 a month in revenue. If that's your goal, you don't need us. Just listen to this free content. I have tons of other free videos if you're new to the channel about growing a lawn care business. You do not need, and I do not recommend Augusta Lawn Care for you if you are just trying to do $15,000, $20,000 a month in revenue. The reason we have the solo operator model is to have a lower price point for someone to get into the franchise, because there are a lot of costs for us as a franchise to set up legally in your state, get everything licensed and registered. We handle the legal side, all of the training and setup. That's what we have to cover in that initial fee. So the solo operating model is great if you're just getting started or you're smaller and you need a couple years to ramp up to $20,000+ a month in revenue. That's fine, but there's definitely a downside of joining a franchise, any franchise, in that you have an initial fee as well as costs on a monthly basis. Now, the monthly basis side for Augusta Lawn Care is, let's just actually put this underneath here. It's either $699 a month or it's $1,200 a month, okay? And those are the ongoing fees per month. That is for the growth solo operator model, the $699, and $1,200 for the growth model, or large companies in, as big as you want to grow. In terms of price, there is that initial fee that's important. So we either have a $7K option, or currently it's $20K that will be going up within the next year or two. So again, solo operator, growth model. So this is the initial fee. This is the ongoing cost every single month, okay? So which one should you join, solo versus growth? That's a video. You can check it out, go to the website, etc. But all I'm saying is there are definitely downsides and the con to join the franchise is the fact that you have an initial fee and you have ongoing costs. This initial fee covers our expenses of initial training, setting up all of your accounts, as well as the legal fees that are incurred on our end. And yes, we do make a little bit of profit on this, usually between 20 and 30%. Okay, we do need to make a profit. We are a business as well. $699, that money right there, that monthly cost, the reason we fixed that number at no more than $1,200 per month is because I want you to grow. I do not want to take a royalty. There is no royalties at Augusta Lawn Care. I guess technically even though I did not put this in the text message to this person, full disclosure, there is no royalty at Augusta Lawn Care. We do not take a percentage of your revenue. The reason I don't, the number one reason, is because I feel like there's a perverse incentive for you to grow if I have a cut of every dollar that is made. At $1,200 fixed, I can encourage you to grow, tell you that you should expand, use systems, have multiple locations, whatever it is, but I know I'm making $1,200 per month regardless if your location is making $300,000 or $3 million in annual revenue. I still get $1,200 per month. What does that cover? That's going to cover your website. It's going to cover access to P4P software. Just those two things alone, by the way. If you went to lawncarewebdesign.com, $400 a month. If you went to P4Psoftware.com, $200 a month. That alone, just those two things, is $600 a month, just in those two pieces of software that you get as part of being in the franchise. Not to say all the training, support, and the other things that are offered, the marketing material, the back-end software that we use. All of that is included in this fee here and part of being part of the franchise, and there is no royalty. That number does not go up for your 10-year franchise agreement that you are inside of Augusta Lawn Care. But this is definitely a downside because the alternative to spending this kind of money is spending the money on advertising or trucks or equipment or whatever else in your business. And there's definitely a point to be made that if you spent this kind of money, $7,000, $20,000 on initial marketing spend, that you could grow a pretty big business. And if you spend this money in your business, that monthly $700 or $1,200 per month, you could also grow your business. My philosophy is this. I spent in the first 2 to 3 years more than $60,000 on marketing when I was growing my business, and I would say $40,000 of that was completely waste because I didn't know what I was doing. I was spending my money on the wrong places. My customer acquisition cost was more than triple than what it is now, and I wasted a ton of money and time trying to figure out what worked when it came to marketing, trying to figure out what worked when it came to equipment, trying to figure out how to pay my guys. All of that stuff took a lot of time and money, and that's what you're paying for when you join a franchise. But there's definitely the downside. There is upfront costs and ongoing costs to joining a franchise, okay? I hope that makes sense in terms of what we spend that money on and why we need to collect on the upfront and the monthly fee, okay? That monthly fee includes your website. Like, you don't have to worry about the website. We are constantly updating it. We just made a new video for fall cleanup side of things at Augusta Lawn Care. All their back-end videos are changed. They don't have to worry about any of that stuff. We're working on a back-end dashboard where they can add banners and they can add change things on their website from a back-end portal. All of that stuff is included. We don't charge extra for technology fees or for website stuff or software. That is the fee that you have to pay every single month. All right, I think there's one more. Yes, last one. This is another one, and that is another con of joining a franchise is control. You could also wrap this up underneath sort of having your own brand, okay? And I don't want to disqualify this one, but if you talk to most billionaires, this is where they kind of chuckle when people start saying that they have a $2, $3, $4, $5, even $1 million business, and they're so worried about their brand. Like, they have to realize just how small they really are in the grand scheme of things. So I don't want to diminish it though, because I do know that there is a pride of ownership and owning your own thing, but there's definitely a downside. When you join Augusta Lawn Care, you give up a sense of control. A little bit of control is going out the door. Why? I'm going to tell you what color of trucks you got to paint your whatever truck you want to have. Great. We don't regulate that. We don't regulate type of equipment you buy. We give standards and recommendations and have time motion studies in terms of how long things should take based upon your mower size and all the rest of it. But we do not regulate what type of equipment or truck you buy. But I will regulate that you have a yellow truck, and we'll give you the paint color for that, as well as the decals for that truck. That's about the extent that I'm going to control your equipment purchases. Is you got to have the truck painted or wrapped and have the decals on it. But there are certain things of control that we will not let you do. You can't do certain things that you would do as an independent. You can't just go do random things outside of the brand, and you've got to stay inside certain confines. Now, we try to make it pretty flexible at Augusta Lawn Care because I want our entrepreneurs to feel entrepreneurial and not feel like they're stuck in this box. We give very clear defined guidelines, and how I have my location set up, I give those as the guidelines, the systems. We test a lot of things and then come up with the solutions. But ultimately, a lot of the things that we talk about at Augusta Lawn Care really are still up to the owners at each location. We don't regulate that they have to use Command Center. We don't regulate that they have to use our CRM that we use at Command Center. We don't regulate that they have to use certain types of marketing. We don't regulate very much outside of the color of your truck, your uniforms, and if you did something really stupid on social media, we have the power to step in and help and regulate it. I've never had to do that. So there is not a lot of loss of control, but there definitely is to some extent, because we make you paint your trucks and we do regulate certain things and making sure, for example, that if you do something really stupid to your employees, I'm going to tell you have to leave the franchise. If you are a bad representation of the brand and you're affecting other owners that are close by you, I'm going to let you out of the brand. And yes, we have let 1 or 2 people go outside of Augusta Lawn Care, and we cut ties with them because the brand was affecting the Augusta Lawn Care brand, and it cannot affect the other owners. That's when I step in and have to do something about it. So yes, you lose a little bit of control when you join a franchise, and especially Augusta Lawn Care. And you also realize that, hey, you're not going to have your own independent brand. You know, Bob's Lawn Care, Mike's Lawn Care doesn't exist anymore. You're kind of going into this, what someone would call a corporate chain. But ultimately, the cons we've listed so far and the loss of control is actually all positive in my mind, and we're going to write those things down. The loss of control of an independent brand that has very little effect or brand power is absolutely overshadowed by the power of tapping into a much larger brand. So I'm going to go over some of the pros. I'm going to go over the ones that I wrote down in my text message to this individual, and if I think of any others, maybe I'll write those down. We already talked about no royalty, but that's really specific to just Augusta Lawn Care. I'm going to try to be more general when it comes to franchising and what that means. So first and foremost, this is for pretty much every franchise, but if you look at the valuation mechanism or the resale value of a location, much higher when it comes to a franchise. The reason for that is because a potential buyer has more confidence that the financials are legitimate. They also can have a third party, the franchisor, validate that those financials are true. So as a buyer, if I have more confidence, I'm willing to pay a higher premium as well as a higher multiple when it comes to selling the business and just the overall valuation. Even to a bank, much better valuations are given, as well as loan terms, because they know that you have systems behind you. They know that if everything falls apart, that there's something behind the business besides just the owner. And so the valuation of your business, the resale value, is much higher. Whether you're going to a bank or you're actually selling your business, any franchise, not just Augusta Lawn Care, you're going to have a better valuation mechanism because the buyer or the lender are going to have much more confidence that the systems of the business is what makes everything happen, and not just one independent person, Bob or Mike at Bob's Lawn Care and Mike's Lawn Care. If they get wiped out, there goes the brand. Not so with Augusta Lawn Care, not so with most franchises. And I walk this talk because I bought Anytime Fitness at a valuation that was much higher than if I would have bought it as an independent. When I bought the gym, Anytime Fitness, it was doing about $400,000 in annual revenue, and I bought it for $550,000, literally more than 1 time's earnings, or not 1 time's revenue, and at the time probably 4 times earnings. Well, the thing is, I take that business built on systems, I spend less than an hour there because it's built on systems, and they have all the infrastructure and the software and everything behind it, and now that business will do $600,000 in annual revenue this year, generate much more profit, and again, now that business is probably worth like $800,000 or $900,000. That's not the case if that was an independent gym, because the valuation mechanisms and the resale value of a franchise is much higher. I was able to get a loan against that gym very easily, even though at the time I didn't have a lot of credit. I only put 10% down, got an SBA loan, mostly because being part of a franchise, the SBA, Small Business Administration, loves that because they have an operating agreement, they have a franchise agreement, and they know there's systems behind the company and not just one solo entrepreneur. All right, valuation, resale value. The next thing is a pro of any franchise, but also to Augusta Lawn Care, is removing bottlenecks. When it comes to the systems that we've built, we are constantly looking at where the bottlenecks are, and most of those revolve around labor, and they revolve around you as the owner. So you as the owner, pick up all the calls. You as the owner, answer emails. You as the owner, run payroll. You as the owner, do all these things in the business that at Command Center and Augusta Lawn Care, we're able to take off of your plate. Now, Command Center at Augusta Lawn Care is on a per minute basis, so if you use it a lot, you pay more. If you don't use it at all, which you don't have to, you don't pay for it at all. So it's just a per minute basis. It ranges between 90 cents and $1.09 per minute per use. And if you compare that against anybody else, whether that be Call Boss, Ruby, Jill's Reception or Jill's Office, or whatever it's called, if you compare it against all of those, we're literally like 30 to 50% cheaper than all of those. So we do that to remove bottlenecks in the business. The reason we have Command Center, and all of you have watched me for a long time, know how much work and effort goes into Command Center, is because of this. I'm trying to build it in order to remove bottlenecks. To say that's cheap is false. It is absolutely a cost to the franchisees, but I know that if I can remove the bottlenecks, it's going to improve the valuation and resale of the business. It's also going to allow them to scale much more efficiently. And that's another pro of a franchise: scale and growth. It allows this to happen because you already have the infrastructure in place in allowing you to grow the company. So instead of you spending 5 years trying to figure out offices and how you're going to put your systems for sales and how you're going to do your marketing and all these other things, you can literally tap into it in 1 minute, be able to have the ability to scale and grow. This is why there are massive investors. For example, Shaquille O'Neal, I think he has like 400 Five Guys franchises. Now, he probably spends all of an hour a week managing them by talking to the head office that manages all of them for him. They have a completely different entity, a massive business with a CEO that just owns 400 Five Guys restaurants. So why would not Shaquille O'Neal or any investor that owns thousands or hundreds of franchises, why would they not just go start their own independent? They realize that they're able to scale and get to 400 locations very quickly because the back-end infrastructure is already built. They don't have to create the recipes, they don't have to figure out the marketing, they don't have to figure out the branding. There's already a blueprint for success. So honestly, when you look at any investor that really trying to scale a business very quickly, either A, they're going to take a massive gamble on trying to scale up hundreds of locations themselves, or they're just going to be like, okay, look, this model worked. Let's just go rinse and repeat that 100 times. And ultimately, that's our goal at Augusta Lawn Care, whether someone's just getting started underneath the solo operator model or they're buying into the growth model, is in time, we want you to have multiple locations. All right. Next year, you're going to hear us coming out with an option for people to buy 10 locations at the same time. We're still perfecting that, but as we move that model, the reason we're moving that direction is because I don't want to just have one location. I don't want to just have someone doing $20,000 a month revenue. I don't want just someone having one location paying me $1,200 a month. I want people to be able to have the opportunity to have multiple locations and create a hierarchy and a framework and an organization around managing those managers that are managing those locations. So they have locations with general managers, a regional manager, and then them as the CEO and the founder at the top. That's why, again, investors are attracted to franchises. It's because they already know the infrastructure is built. They just have to tap capital into that, and the infrastructure and the organization is already built around it. So scaling and growth is another positive. All right, community and education. So community and education. I really believe that the people at Augusta Nation, inside of the company, and are the best owners, the best people in the world. Like, I love it. I love being around them. We just had a meetup down south in Memphis, and I was in the room, I was like, everyone in this room is amazing. And there's that time when you come to a place in life, you're like, man, like, these are my people. Like, these are the people I love, trust, and want to be around. And what's always amazing when at Augusta Nation is, even for owners that haven't met everyone yet, like they're new, and they come to a conference or they come to a meetup, it's like as if we been with each other forever, because we're in touch with each other so often. But more important is, like, we all have the same common goal, the same common mission. We're all using the same exact model of franchise system. So, like, instead of you going on a Facebook group and like asking about pricing and getting a bazillion different answers, because everyone's using different business models. Some are using subscription, some are using more commercial-based work, some are using more residential, some are using hardscaping and landscaping, some people are doing just treatments. All of these different models, you ask people for advice, you get such a variety of answers that are all over the place, honestly, because they don't have the same systems that everyone is following. So the community and the education at Augusta Lawn Care is like, hey, we all know exactly the branding we're using. We all know we're a premium brand. We all know that what exactly our pricing, advertising strategy, and systems are. And so when you ask a question, it's way more informative because we're all on the same page on like 99% of things. Like, these are the systems, this is what the infrastructure, this is the lens by which we view business. So when we ask questions, you get a much more informed answer. And furthermore, every single day that goes by, we currently have about 100 owners working on those systems, making them better. We're trying to figure out the best ways to do certain things. You have 100 people doing it, so you don't have to figure it out. When we went through COVID, I was part of Anytime Fitness. There's a lot of gyms that went out of business. The reason Anytime Fitness, we did not go out of business, and why we are now doing better than we were before COVID, is simply due to the fact that I have 4,000 in Anytime Fitness, other owners and locations testing, improving the systems, making the model better. And so when everything hit the fan in 2020, we were able to fall back on a massive community that supported us when we were down. When we had to close down for 3 months, we're forced by the government to do so, we were able to fall back on a community and fall back on people trying, virtual training, trying to do different things in the business, trying to create supplement lines, trying to rent out their equipment. Again, I'm using the example of a franchise that's not even in lawn care, just the Anytime Fitness. But the same is true for Augusta Lawn Care, and that is when you're going down, you have a community, a network that's gonna fall in behind you. There's other people that are using the exact same model, the exact same systems. And so when you go down and you're struggling with something, they know exactly, there's a very good chance they've been there. There's a very good chance they've gone through the exact same thing on their path to growth. So the community, the education is unmatched. Every single day, Monday through Friday, I get on a mastermind and spend anywhere between 15 and 45 minutes sometimes answering questions and educating about things outside of just lawn care. Because ultimately we have 7 stages of wealth at Augusta Nation, and it ends with actually investing outside of lawn care, in real estate, in stocks, etc. Now you gotta get through all 7 and before you do that, and before that it means rinse and repeat, like you're gonna go and do multiple locations. However, number 7 is we gotta learn about economics, we gotta learn about real estate, we gotta see trends in the stock market. And these things might be 5-10 years away from many of the owners, but we're trying to educate them to become wealthy, not just to become good lawn care people, all right? So the education also unmatched, fantastic community, and it's a great system because you're all using the same business systems, so when it comes to frameworks that you might have questions about, you're getting better answers. The last thing that I typed up to this individual was mission. It's very hard sometimes as a solo operator to have any sort of mission with your team because they only see you growing your location in your one market. Maybe you start a second location for some people that are advanced, but the mission of Augusta Nation is to change the level of professionalism in the landscape industry. It's a massive goal that I believe over the next 15 to 20 years we're going to make happen. And that's I've dedicated everything we're doing towards that. The mission of doing that and changing the level of professionalism immediately puts you and your team in the driver's seat in your local market of creating the standard of communication, professionalism within the industry. And that's what we expect of our owners. And that's what employees buy into. The mission of Augusta Lawn Care, changing the level of professionalism in the industry, starts with our employees. The 3F program, Franchise Fee Forgiveness Program, allows the employees to completely not have this cost, the initial fee, in order for them to be incentivized to work for you for 2 years. If they do that, they're eligible to start their own location without any upfront fee, and we eat the cost of that at the franchisor level. The reason? Because we're going to change this industry by taking frontline staff members that buy into the mission, buy into our beliefs, buy into the professionalism that we try to echo, and then they actually go from mowing grass and being entry level to actually becoming managers or estimators or owners one day inside of Augusta Nation. It's the same thing that Domino's does. Domino's really pushes and incentivizes in that, to my knowledge, actually only allows people that have worked at their locations as employees to become owners. That is who buys into the concept. That's who buys into the mission of what we're trying to do. And I know that right now we're overlooked. We only have 100 locations at Augusta Lawn Care. But I said from the beginning, give me 5 years before it starts to become very apparent that it's unequivocally unbalanced and unfair to be part of Augusta versus an independent. We are 3 years, almost to the date, 3 years into franchising. Give me 2 more years. And at that time, there's going to be, when you step back, you will say, it is an unfair advantage to be part of Augusta Lawn Care versus being your own independent. I truly believe that. And I also can say that more confidently now, knowing what our next 24-month roadmap looks like when it comes to technology, software, what we're trying to build. We've done a lot, and I think we're really good. I think it's a great value proposition now, but just give me a couple more years when I deliver on the 5-year promise of what we're going to be doing. And I really hope that some people consider the fact that these cons, most of them, are are invalid. They really are. When you're looking at a franchise, most of it has to do with pride around control as to why you would not join a franchise. I believe that your brand is better with a franchise. The security, the infrastructure, it's like an insurance policy when you know that and we have done this before at Command Center. We ran people's businesses for multiple days when they were out with COVID, when they had circumstances and family issues that kept them from the business. We literally were able to tap in with their employees and immediately run the business. Why? Because running on systems, it's not running on personalities and someone really great being there. I remember being underneath a dump truck, got hurt, and for 3 weeks I couldn't be in the business. It had to run on incredible people being there. You can't always have incredible people, and you need to have systems to be able to run the business when you are down. This is the best insurance policy you're ever going to have, is becoming a part of a network of people that are all bought into the same systems and the same business model that allow you to, if God forbid something bad happens to you, the business will still keep running because you're using systems and not all built on top of you. There's an infrastructure. There's something behind it running it besides you. And that's what allows the valuation to be higher. That's what allows the bottlenecks to be removed. That's what allows the community education to be more valuable than just joining a Facebook group or talking to local competitors that are, by the way, not telling you what actually is working in their company. And the mission behind what we're trying to do at Augusta Lawn Care, changing the level of professionalism in the landscape industry, is going to take us at least 15 to 20 years. And at that time is when we'll be taking the company public. And at that time, it'll be unequivocally a matter of there is no reason outside of pride and control of your brand to be able to join Augusta Lawn Care. From a financial standpoint, there is not a whole lot that you can compare in terms of everything that you get at Augusta Lawn Care versus your own. In terms of me being biased, I am 100% biased. So take everything I've said with a grain of salt, and if you'd like to talk to someone who is less biased, but also has knowledge, because everyone does some comments being like, oh, I would never give it to Augusta Lawn Care, so horrible, franchises are of the devil, or whatever it is. They don't have the knowledge. They've probably never started a franchise, and if they have, they potentially got burnt by someone that was not as public about as I am with franchise. Find me one franchise that puts as many videos out as me, sharing their public and personal life, the finances of the company, everything that's going on, and it allows you to contact every single franchisee. Not putting you in touch with someone that's been successful, not that, no. Contact Lee, link is in the description, and he will literally give you a list of every single franchisee with their contact information, and you can contact as many of them as you want. And only about 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 people that contact us will we even allow into Augusta Nation, because when I get into a room of Augusta Nation franchisees, owners, managers, I want to have that same sense that we're all bought into the same mission, this is our people, and that it's literally like you've known these people your entire life. And I truly believe that's what it can do for your business. Very positive. It can do for your personal life, having that system, that network of people. I think you should contact a couple franchisees and really consider joining now before your location your area is potentially bought up, or potentially in a few years down the road when you've spun your wheels for so long, try to figure things out. It's like, tap into the systems. I understand there's costs. I understand that you're not going to have your own brand. There's what seems like limited, limitations to that. I understand that, but I promise you, joining a franchise is good for 95% of business owners. And I've done it myself before even starting Augusta Lawn Care. And I have no desire, and when I think about owning a gym, I'm like, I can't even imagine joining any gym that was independent without the systems and the framework and having everything spelled out for me and knowing exactly how to start and having a whole bunch of other people testing the model live and know what they're going through and what's working for them, what's not working for them. Like, I would never even try it. And so again, stop trying to think, I think this is, it comes across bad me saying it. I'm just being honest. Stop thinking that you're such an anomaly that you're going to be able to build a better business than other companies and organizations that have done this hundreds, thousands, and thousands of times. Like, you're not going to build a better sub sandwich. You might be able to build a better quality sandwich, but you're not going to be able to build a better business than Subway. I'm sorry, when it comes to sub sandwiches. They've done it thousands of times. You say, oh, they're declining right now. Yeah, they're going to lose a few thousand stores. They're going to figure it out because there's so many of them that are going in the same direction. And I truly believe with Augusta Lawn Care, we're going to have bad apple here or there. I'm going to pull them out. We're going to make sure that we continue to move forward, and we're going to change the level of professionalism in the industry. I want you to be part of that, and I really do challenge you. Look for another franchisor that the founder's as open and honest and sharing about what's going on. I share about my weaknesses, what we're financially going through, what my struggles are, where our deficiencies are at the franchise. I try to be open, as honest, and transparent as possible, because ultimately, when it comes to the education side of Augusta Lawn Care, I want my franchisors, my owners, I want my franchisees, and the owners inside the franchise to learn and educate themselves about money, wealth, and as I become a millionaire and a billionaire in the future, they're going to get the literal daily evolution of that process, and I hope that they follow my tracks as far as they want with their goals and their wealth. The number one thing that I track is how many millionaires we created Augusta Nation. The second thing I track is how many frontline team members use the 3F program to become owners. Those are the two metrics I use because I know if those become high, we will change the level of professionalism in this industry once and for all.